Hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. Yes, there are links in the description below on the LinkTree. I need to tell you something, and I know many of you are not going to want to hear it. I know it might be difficult for you to absorb a lot of this information, but it's going to be the brutally honest truth. I think a lot of people are missing the bigger picture, and I think a lot of people are going to miss the train. I think I've come to this realization more and more over the last, I want to say 2 years. It hasn't been 10 years, it's just been 2. The current era of the cryptocurrency space is one that I did not expect to see for a very long time. I mean, really, I thought in the 2030s, maybe 2040s, we'd get to exactly where we are right now. It looks like rich people aren't playing around. Who knew? And they're really adamant to kind of corner the entirety of the market for themselves. If you don't remember, this must have been a year. I don't remember the time frame. We were discussing the actual future of the cryptocurrency space relative to the people who are currently in it. I.e., if you've taken the time to accumulate coins or assets, you see them pay off in the future. I expected years ago that a large number of people were going to get into the cryptocurrency space, and we'd kind of live in this new digital utopia of sorts. You heard me say it before. I would love another 100 million people in this market. I don't think that's going to happen. So for the lucky few of you who are currently in the market, only around this many of you are actually going to make it. And that's because a large portion of people in this market are only here for the quick, fast money. You might lie to yourself and say that you're not, but you know that you are. You know that you're only here because you want to make 6 figures, you want to make a low 7 figures, you want to get out of the market and do with your life as you will. Not paying attention to the fact that countries are buying Bitcoin, governments, institutions, central banks, what have you. We don't have to go over the whole list. Hearing that all these types of words, governments, institutions, blah, 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 are getting into the space, lets me know that the longevity for crypto is an extravagantly crazy one. Bitcoin's going to be around in 5 years. Bitcoin will be around in 10 years. In around 35 years, Bitcoin is still probably going to be around with an extremely high market cap. We've seen that after the halving, prices rise and we get more support, we get more people, we get more accumulation, but this time is very different. ETF issuers inside the United States are almost near 2 million Bitcoin. If you missed the video from a week ago, I don't remember. MicroStrategy is over 500,000 coins, and I'm going to tell you the exact significance of why I think that this year MicroStrategy is going over 1 million Bitcoin. Current estimates put the amount of Bitcoin left on crypto exchanges at roughly around 2 million Bitcoin. All that Bitcoin is not liquid. It's not up for grabs. People want to hold on to their Bitcoin. That's it. That's all that's left. The people who are mining Bitcoin are not selling their Bitcoin and throwing them onto a crypto exchange. They're selling it to banks, and they're selling it to other institutions, and they're selling it to other countries, and they're selling it to other places, or they're keeping it for themselves. People who mine Bitcoin aren't just trying to break even. They're mining the Bitcoin for themselves, and that's something that we really need to get. Like I said, this isn't meant to make you feel bad or make you feel a certain way. It's just more of a reality. If we saw Bitcoin go from $1 to $10 to $1,000 to $100, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 1 it's evident that Bitcoin's going to 1 million. If Bitcoin goes to $1 million, Bitcoin's going to $10 million. If Bitcoin goes to $10 million, Bitcoin's going to $100 million per coin. At that point, and I think this is the final stretch. I think at that point, that's when the word isn't sad. This is really one of the last opportunities that we have for something like this possibly ever. New asset classes aren't created every day. We kind of have what we have. You can look at cars as an investment. You can look at diamonds and gold. You can look at real estate. You can look at land as an investment. You can look at crypto, art. We don't have 700 or even one new thing per year that pops up and everyone's like, that is the thing. This is a very liquid market. And it's a very fast moving market in that, not similar at all to art or real estate or land. You can get in and out of the market with great ease. On top of that, it's also a payment system that is used to transact value around the world. Do you understand what Bitcoin actually is and who it's for? The idea of numbers on a screen, really think about it, that can go anywhere and transact value to whomever you decide to send it to is a very powerful thing. So when you hear that governments are getting into it and that they're mining it and that they're accumulating Bitcoin for themselves, I truly wonder why this hasn't made more of an impact on the world like it was supposed to. The only people who get it are this is true, are the people we were trying to get away from. The 2008-2009 crisis, Bitcoin was created to get us away from the old system. It's the old system that understands what Bitcoin is, and they're the ones buying it. I saw this and I was like, no, yeah, of course this was going to happen. If you missed it, at the time of me making this video, MicroStrategy currently has, I think, 506,000 Bitcoin. 506,000 Bitcoin, 6 figures worth of Bitcoin. Do you know how much that Bitcoin cost them? I'll tell you. It cost them $33 billion. What's the significance of 33 and the number 42? MicroStrategy announced last year that now, this year and the next, they are going to accumulate cumulatively $42 billion, 42 billion US dollars to buy Bitcoin. The numbers that we've seen them purchasing this year, they haven't even worked on or started their purchase from the 21 billion Bitcoin. If it cost them 33 billion Bitcoin to buy 500,000 Bitcoin, the $42 billion is going to send them over the million Bitcoin mark. If you remember the numbers that I said before, and I want everyone to just really get it. If there's 2 million Bitcoin left on exchanges and maybe 1 million are actually left up for grabs. This is really, if you paid attention to all the other channels without having to explain everything, this is basically all that's left. If they buy up 500,000 Bitcoin, OTC Bitcoin is roughly around 100-something thousand that's left, and that's it. If MicroStrategy has stated, it needs to be stated, they've said that they have no intention of ever selling their Bitcoin. They want it forever. If they buy up 500,000 from that million that's left, what's the problem there? The United States is also trying to accumulate another 800,000 Bitcoin. Where do you create 800,000 Bitcoin from if there's only 500,000 left? I'll even give you a good one. Let's say there's 2 million Bitcoin left on exchanges and 1.5 million are left up for grabs. MicroStrategy plans on, they're going to have over 1 million Bitcoin. The ETFs, they purchased 1.5 million Bitcoin in 14 months. By the end of this year, they're also going to have another minimum 500,000 Bitcoin. BlackRock, MicroStrategy, Washington, D.C. That's more than 1.5 million Bitcoin. What about the other companies who are also buying, who we hear about every day? If you follow the other channel, The Modern Investor, we go over this daily. There are hundreds of companies who are buying Bitcoin every single day. Every single day. Like, this isn't a, oh, maybe they're doing it. No, we know that it's happening for a fact. You forgot about the other 20 Bitcoin ETFs around the world. Yeah, there are a lot of them. And they're also purchasing millions of dollars daily. It may not be hundreds of millions, but if you purchase 1 million 20 times, it adds up. That's 200 million over the course of 10 days. You're forgetting about normal investors who are also purchasing. Even if you purchase 0.01 Bitcoin, you do that with 100 people, that's an entire Bitcoin that's gone. I don't know where all of this is leading, where all of this is going, but the numbers are beginning to get like really insane. If you missed it as well, we know that there are a number of central banks who are also actively buying and stuff as well. So keeping in mind that the United States is not the only country who's buying Bitcoin. There are about a dozen, no, it's actually 24 at this point that we know of, who are also actively in Bitcoin. They're mining it and they're also buying it, like for their economy and to do trade with other countries. You're forgetting about the 100 million people who are also into Bitcoin. You're forgetting about the other people who are also going to rush into this market when Bitcoin's price goes to $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 because they realize that they missed out and they should have bought a lot earlier. I don't know what's happening and I don't know what's going to become of this market. I think my mind can't really conceptualize how crazy this is all going to be. If you missed the last video, we were talking about that the amount of Ether on crypto exchanges hasn't been this low since 2015. There's almost no Ether left for the ETFs, nonetheless, institutions or normal people. The amount of Bitcoin left on exchanges is not all liquid, and there's not enough for BlackRock, not even Fidelity, BlackRock, MicroStrategy, and the United States to acquire. You also probably forgot that there's like 20 states within the United States who are also going to be buying $1 billion each worth of Bitcoin. You probably forgot about the banks in Canada who are also buying Bitcoin. I think you probably also forgot about the banks and the institutions and the billionaires in Mexico who told us years ago that, they were also buying Bitcoin as well. You probably forgot about the new Bitcoin ETFs that just launched in Paris, in Germany, in Stockholm, I think as well it was, and some other country, in Switzerland. You're probably forgetting about the Bitcoin ETFs in Singapore and in Hong Kong. You forget that buying Bitcoin is also still legal in China. Last point. It sounded like a joke before, but this is why I remember in the video I was like, it sounds crazy, but nothing in my mind tells me that it's impossible. There was an analyst, I forgot from which company, but it was one of the big ones. It was like the Fidelity, the Vanguards, like that level of like richness. And he was saying that if the current accumulation levels persisted for Bitcoin, do you remember what he said by the year 2033? He said, according to his charts, if the current levels continued and they didn't slow down, we'd get to $1 billion Bitcoin by the year 2033. He said there's no way that that you can keep this accumulation level up. That's what I've been saying in the other videos. I'm like, how have these people been so good at making everyone not pay attention to the market? The market goes sideways, the market goes down the last 3 months, everyone looks away. Even when the market goes up, there's like this misbelief, disbelief that kind of floats around there, and people go like, okay, well, let's see when Bitcoin actually hits 500,000 But at that point, you missed out on the lower prices. By the time Bitcoin, even where we are right now, Bitcoin is an asset for the wealthy. Do you understand how rare Bitcoin is? How long it's going to take to mine the last Satoshis? That by the time we get through the next two halvings, the amount of Bitcoin that comes out when it gets mined is less than an entire coin in two halvings. Have you seen what it looks like in 2046? There's nothing coming out of the machine. Some of you own more. Listen, some of you own more Bitcoin right now than will even come out every time a block is mined in 2032. You're holding more Bitcoin than will actually be mined per block in the next two halvings. The institutions aren't stopping. And I wonder, we don't know the date, when the breaking point is going to be, like the straw on the camel's back. This can't go on forever. And this is why I think MicroStrategy has been doing like such aggressive buys the last couple of weeks. It won't take them another decade to accumulate another 500,000 Bitcoin. Like I said before, I think within the next couple of months, we're going to hear that they already have 600, 700,000 Bitcoin. Yeah, don't forget about the other countries who are also buying, and the other ones who've been buying since November, and all the other investors and the other wallet addresses who are buying 100 Bitcoin and 300 Bitcoin per day. It's a very interesting time to be in this space. I don't want people, and I know they're going to, that's the worst part. I don't want people to have regrets for not having been in this market or having been in this market and having sold. I can't tell you what to do with your coins. Everyone has a different life. Everyone has different needs and expectations in the journey that we're all on. But I really think something crazy is going to happen. Like I feel like this isn't meant to sound cheesy, but I don't think any of us are actually prepared for what it means to have a multi-million-dollar Bitcoin. I don't think any of us understand what happens when the Fed lowers interest rates and prices really begin to pump. I think it's difficult. You couldn't in 2010 have told anyone that in 2025 that the United States government and a bunch of other really rich countries would be buying Bitcoin, that we'd get to 100,000, that we're talking about 1 million. And I think it's that kind of thing where you can't really conceptualize. You can see what's happening in the moment, or you can imagine. None of us are prepared for what Bitcoin's going to be in 2040. That, I think, is the actual real kicker for all of this. You can see what's happening now. You can have expectations of a $500,000 Bitcoin. If we get to a $30 million Bitcoin in the next 15 years, everyone not holding is going to be really, 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 really upset. Because there also won't be any new Bitcoin entering the market. There's no new Bitcoin now entering the market. The only Bitcoin that's being sold is from retail investors who are fatigued with the market. Yeah. I saw that and it hit me really hard because for some reason I had a different number in my mind. I was thinking that the $42 billion would be able, really, the numbers. I thought the $42 billion that they're raising would be able to buy $150,000, $200,000, $300,000 Bitcoin. That'll send them over 1 million. They will have more Bitcoin forever, more Bitcoin than the United States. They will be the richest company on the planet. And that's one company. And these are, keep it in mind as well. These are the companies who let us know. There are a lot of companies who are buying Bitcoin every single month, every single day. They just don't say it publicly. Yeah, buckle up, everyone. If you're here for the long term, shout out to you. If you're here for the short term, I hope you make the money that you need to make for whatever circumstances that you currently have in life. I hope it provides you well. But this is going to be a masterclass in patience and like really seeing where this all goes. If this Bitcoin experiment works out, it'll be the easiest 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 million dollars that you've ever made in your entire life. It was just about holding and waiting. Yeah. So I think that'll do it for this video. Seems like a good time to end. Hope you're all doing well. I know life is lifing. I know the world is intense every single day. I don't know. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.